Hey bitch, come with me to go get my nails done. Look at how crusty, dusty, musty they're looking. And then we're gonna have a little heart-to-heart in the car about everything that happened, the breakup, how I'm feeling, how I'm doing, how I'm healing. And we're just gonna keep it real. So if you don't wanna see the attitude change from right now till after I get my nails done, please stop. She had no idea what was going on in my life. Why did she give me a heart that breaks? Ah! Okay, bitch, let's talk about the breakup. I think something that I'm like having a hard time comprehending is the fact that I don't think that this man ever loved me. I really don't think that he did. I'm gonna break down everything and just be honest. I'm not here to bash him. I'm not here to talk shit on his name or his family. I'm just telling you what happened, and maybe other people can avoid going through what I did because I ignored some red flags thinking that they were small red flags, and they're not. What I went through with him is like literally mind-boggling. Like, I don't even think that my body can or my mind can process everything that he put me through, that I'm in like a state of shock still. Bitch, this shit's gonna be all over the place, and I'm sorry, but you're just gonna have to deal with it. Just pretend like we're best friends sitting in a car together and you're just listening to me vent, because this is what that is. When I had first met him, I was really open about my past and everything that has happened to me, how I got cheated on, and it really hurt me, and I have trust issues, and I'm working through them. I had started therapy around the same time that I started dating my ex, and this dude literally fucking manipulated me to make me think that it was my own trust issues. Like, he knew I was working on my trust issues. He knew that I like already had issues with cheating and stuff like that, and he like played off of them. And he told me, he was like, yeah, I've been cheated on before, like my first ex, like she really fucked me up, and like ever since then, like I just have a hard time trusting people. Almost like mirroring who I was back to me. It was in like some weird fucked up sick way. I had told him all this stuff, and I started in the beginning of the relationship going through his phone, going through stuff. And I was convincing myself that the feelings that I was having about like him doing some sly shit or him doing something, I was convincing myself that it was anxiety. Whole time it was my fucking intuition, bitch. The whole time it was my intuition. I had no fucking clue. And I remember I went through his phone. I had felt weird about this one girl because I keep notes of shit that people say, you know what I mean? And I had a weird feeling about this one girl because we weren't even dating yet. We were just seeing each other. He randomly was like, oh, like you're cool with me being friends with so-and-so. And it was a girl. And I was like, yeah, why? And he's like, oh, because my ex had problems with me being friends with her. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not your ex. Like, why are we talking about your ex? Why are you comparing me to your ex? And that was one of the very first red flags where I was just like, what the fuck? Why are we talking about who you can be friends with? Like, we're not even dating. We didn't even have a title at that point. So fast forward, that same girl that he had brought up, right? And he was like, you're cool with me being friends with her, right? And I was like, yeah, I had no issues with it, but I thought it was weird that he just like randomly brought this up. Now that I'm out of the relationship, I'm re-going through our entire relationship thinking like he was snitching on himself the whole time. So I go through his phone when he's sleeping. Mind you, this is in the very beginning of our relationship. I'm still working through my trust issues, and I over communicated that. It's like, I feel this type of way and I'm doing this thing and I don't know why and I'm trying to fix it. That's how I was fucking moving, okay? I go through his phone and I click that girl's message thread and all the shit's deleted. On their Instagram, their entire thread is deleted. He's deleted every single thread that he has. It all ends at one date. Everybody on my TikTok was asking me, what was the thing that I forgave him for where he gave me a ring and promised me that he was going to promise me the world, right? This was that. Why are there no text messages between you and this girl? Like, that's weird to me. I was like, even your Instagram DMs are like completely deleted till like maybe a couple weeks ago. And I was like, he's like, that's how I am. That's how I am with my phone. I delete everything. I think it's weird that you keep shit on your phone. Now that I'm saying this out loud, he's really fucking good at flipping the fucking circumstance to make himself look good and project it onto me. There's nothing wrong with me not deleting shit on my phone. There's something wrong with you deleting all your fucking message threads with women on your phone. We got into this huge 4-day argument about it, and he was like, you know, that's how I am. I don't understand why it's a big deal. And I really had no concrete proof in front of me. And I made the dumbass decision to forgive him. I made the dumbass decision to literally be like, okay, like if that's how you are, I think that that's really weird. Let's not do that. Don't delete anything going forward. And I had asked him like specific questions and he had lied. I was gonna drop him. I literally like cut him off. It had been like 3-4 days and he was like showing up at my house crying with his friends. His mom was texting me saying like, he loves you, give him another chance, he's gonna give you the world, whatever the fuck. I went back. I met him up, and that's when he took me to that like really nice building and gave me that box with all the pictures in it and the ring, and then this long letter telling me that he was gonna never hurt me again, never do anything like he fucking did. That was the first red flag, and I knew, and I fucking remember being in that moment and saying to myself, Taylor, if you take this man back right now, who you barely started dating, if you take him back right now, you're not in love with him. You don't have strong feelings for him. You like him a lot, but you're not in love with him. If you go forward and he does this fuck shit again, you're gonna get your heart broken. I remember telling myself that in my head. I said, you're in a crossroads, you're at a crossroads. He fucked up. Do you believe he can change? And I'm a dumbass because I'm a good person and I believe in the best in people, and I made the mistake of believing the best in a bad person. Whatever, fast forward, we're in a healthy, happy relationship, as so I thought, right? Now that I'm looking back on it, it was not healthy. Like, I think I just kept giving him the benefit of the doubt because I loved him. Like, truthfully, like, you know, and I'm not out here crying on my TikTok or crying on social media and stuff. And this is the last video I will make about him, and I will talk about him. What he did to me really fucking like hurt me. It really did. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and say that it didn't. It did hurt me. Did it break me? No, it did not fucking break me. It hurt my fucking feelings is what it did. I have to now mourn the loss of somebody that never existed. That's the fucked up part. Like, really is what's fucked up, is that he never existed. And on top of that, he promised me shit that he was not gonna give me at the end of the day. And that shit fucks you up, because people will promise you things and then they will not follow through with them. And I don't understand that. Why would you promise me this world of getting married, having kids, having a home, when you're out here fucking bitches on the side? I can say with my full fucking chest, I gave that man the world. The world. I was cooking for him, making him healthy meals so he can get healthy. I was helping him with his own insecurities. I helped him go to therapy. I literally did everything I could possibly do to make the relationship healthy, and it never was. It never was. The last month of our relationship is when I knew something was wrong. We had been arguing. We would get in these like long arguments and like loop, and I couldn't understand why we couldn't come to an understanding. It would always just like loop. And so we would have to take like a 20-minute break and then revisit it. And then all of a sudden now we're talking about like random shit. And I'm like, how did we even end up here? And the last month of our relationship is when we started arguing like a shit ton. And I truthfully believe that the reason why we started arguing so much is because I started to get healthier with my health. Because remember, I almost died fucking 4 months ago. So I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go out, couldn't drink, couldn't party, couldn't do anything. I was basically like chained at home. Once I started to get healthy, I feel like that's when his insecurity started to skyrocket. There was 3 very major things that happened when my brain and my intuition was like, something's wrong here. Like, look at me, genuine, because this shit like blows my fucking mind. Look at me. Look at how confident I am as a person. Look how strong I am. I left that relationship. I'm not fucking going back. I know who I am. I've been through so much shit, and this motherfucker really mentally and emotionally fucking tricked me. I never would have thought in a million years that I would have been in a controlling relationship like I was and not even fucking realize it. Like, you could watch my fucking TikToks of me so ignorant to what I was in until I got out. And I'm talking to people, people were like, what the fuck? For example, okay, I knew something was wrong. I spent $500 on tickets for a concert for his birthday, right? We go to this concert and I was tired, okay? I had done shit all day, so I was trying to be like in an upbeat mood, right? So I'm like, we're kind of celebrating your birthday even though it already passed because this was for your birthday. And I go to the bar to get a drink from the bartender, and mind you, we both went to the bathroom. I got out first and I go to the bar. We're at the concert and I go to the bar and I'm like, oh, can I get a tequila orange juice? The bartender hands me the drink and I hand him my card, and Lala Man comes out of the bathroom, which is my ex-boyfriend. And he looks pissed. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And he's like, nothing. I'm like, what's wrong? Like, what's going on? And he's like, I just get jealous. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, I just get jealous. Like, oh, this is what you're doing when I was in the bathroom. You were talking to him. And I'm like, no, I got us a drink so we can have a good time. He was pissed off for like fucking 20 minutes at the concert, pouting because I had an interaction with a male bartender. There was no conversation. It was just an interaction between me and a male counterpart. That's one thing that like triggered something in my head. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, if you were with any of your friends right now and that happened, you would have been checking that shit. So I'm kind of like, my gears are moving. I'm starting to like pull out of the like mental fucking fucked shit that he had me in, right? The second thing that really fucking blew me was he went through my phone when I was sleeping. The whole reason why he went through my phone in the first place is because after the concert, this was all on the same day, after the concert, we went to a bar, we're sitting there, we're talking, and I would always joke around with him and be like, I have a file on you. You think I'm dumb? I have a file on you. Now that I'm out of it, I realize he was scared shitless when I said that I had a file on him because he had already been cheating. So I was like, without me knowing, I was giving him anxiety that he was gonna get caught up. So thank you, Jesus, for that one. Like, I have a file on you, I have a file on you. And I had my phone, okay? I had my phone like this. And I'm like going through my pictures. I was like scrolling through, like bluffing, right? And so I'm like this. And he goes, let me see. And he leans over like this, right? And I go, no, like joking around, laughing, flipped out. You're hiding something on your phone. Why did you pull your phone away? That's weird. And I'm like, no, I fucking don't. Arguing back and forth. We had a shit time at the concert. It was not fun at all. And then we went back to the house and we're arguing. And then fast forward, this is 2 weeks before our breakup. Okay. So this is when shit was like fucking with me. I wake up the next morning to this dude pacing in the room, pacing back and forth. And we both had work that next day. And I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? And he's pacing. He's like, I gotta talk about this. I gotta bring this up. And I'm like, what? And he's like, you never told me that you had feelings for XYZ. XYZ is somebody that I talked to in my past 3 years ago. 3 years ago that I talked to this dude. In my head, I'm like, how did he even know that? And I'm like, did you go through my phone? Is that where this is coming from? You went through my phone? He's like, yeah, I went through your phone. Anyways, we get into this huge argument about it. He is now drilling me about my past. And I would like feed into this because in my hurt and like the way that I feel safe is knowing more information, right? But to an extent, like I don't want to know what you were doing with another girl. I don't want to know where you guys' favorite restaurant was. I just want to know, like, did you talk to this girl? Did you guys date? What's tea? Dude wanted to know like details. And then the third thing that clicked in my head, the second thing was him going through my phone. The third thing was this. And this is where I was like, you're fucked up. Like, you're literally fucked up in your head. He wanted to know intimate sexual details about each person that I have ever been with. He wanted me to rank them in order of best sex, he wanted me to rank them in order of sizes. And I was like, what is wrong with you? This is when shit was clicking in my head where I was like, this is fucked up. Like, he's dead ass fucked up. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And we just started arguing, and I made him drop it. I went to therapy that same day. And this is when I realized I was in some shit. And it wasn't until this moment where I was like, oh, I was talking to my therapist. I was asking her questions and I was like, he keeps bringing this stuff up. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And the whole time I'm in therapy, I'm trying to figure out how to communicate better with him. That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to figure out how to communicate better so we could be on the same page, so we could have fun at a concert. And I was like, I don't understand why it's so hard. Why is it so hard to be in a relationship with them? I don't get it. And my therapist goes, what do you think? What do you think about the situation? Is this healthy or unhealthy? And I said, I feel like this is unhealthy. And she goes, well, what do you think about that? I'm like, I feel like I'm in the beginning stages of a controlling relationship. And my therapist said to me, no, Taylor, you are not in the beginning stages. You are in it. And that shit fucking like hit me so hard. I can't even begin to tell you because I didn't even realize it. I really didn't. I had no fucking clue that I was in a controlling relationship. I really didn't. And I feel like shit for anybody that's like telling somebody like, why don't you just leave? I didn't even know I was in it. I had no clue. I always thought that a controlling relationship looked like abuse, or telling somebody what they can wear and what they can't wear, or like hitting them, or, you know, physical abuse. I never ever been with somebody that can emotionally and mentally manipulate you in the way that I was. I never in my life, ever. And when she told me that, like a certified fucking therapist, like, is sitting there telling me, like, I'm in a controlling relationship, I'm like, me? But I don't get it. I'm like, no, because, and she's like, Taylor, you're in it, girl, like, you're in it deep. And it scared the shit out of me. It really did. And after therapy, I literally, right after that, I'm like, I need you to sit down, I need to talk to you. I'm like, my therapist deadass just told me right now, I am in a controlling relationship. This is not healthy. You need to seek help. In my fucked up mental brain, I thought that if he went to therapy, we could somehow move past this. And I wrote in my journal, and I'm gonna read it to you. This is why it's so important to write down how you're feeling when you're in a relationship or when you're in the moment, because you don't even realize, like, your thought process and how fucked up it is. Because now that I'm reading it, I'm like, what the fuck? And so this is how I wrote, what I wrote about how I was feeling in that moment right after therapy. I wrote, I feel like I'm at a very important crossroads. I have to make a choice eventually. And right now, I feel miserable. I feel like, insert my ex's name. I feel like my ex has single-handedly taken away my light and joy that made me who I was. I don't feel happy. When I picture my life happy, he isn't in it. When my therapist said you're in a controlling relationship, I broke. I felt like my worst fears became reality. She asked me why I stay, and I wanted to say because I love him, but I couldn't. I want to leave. In this moment, I just want to pick up and go. She told me to listen to my intuition, and right now it's screaming, leave. I feel trapped. I feel weighed down. And I feel like my life isn't what it's supposed to be. I'm on the wrong path. That's what I wrote a week before we broke up. And I knew I had to leave, but I literally couldn't bring myself to do it. And then I went through his phone that next weekend, and you know what? It's so weird how life works. It really is, because after I wrote that down, you heard me say, I know I need to make a choice soon, you know, to stay or leave. That's what my choice was. And I literally sat there and I prayed. I'm like, please, God, I don't know what to do. I love him. I want to be with him long term, but I don't know what to do. I really don't. I feel like I've given my fucking all to the point where I'm like left a shell. What am I supposed to do? Please give me a sign, God. Just give me a sign on which way I'm supposed to go, and I swear to God, I'll take it. And the next day, where me and him are walking my dog, and we randomly see a dove. We just randomly see a dove. And I Googled it. It means like peace, marriage, harmony, or whatever. And it was in like, I'm downtown Chicago. Where the fuck are you gonna see a dove at, you know? And I took that as a sign, as like, oh, we're gonna get married. It's all gonna work out. Everything's gonna be good. We had a great time that night. We went out. It was like when I first met him, and we just had fun. Like, we just genuinely had fun. And we, you know, partied a little bit. We went back to the house and we're talking, and he's looking at me, and he like grabs my chin, like in such a like loving way, and he's like, I'm gonna marry you one day. You watch. He's like, I found the girl. You're the one. I'm gonna marry you. And everything was fine. And he drank a little bit too much wine, and he felt sick, so he laid down. He left his phone on the kitchen table. And I'm like, I went to go grab it, and I'm like, you know what? No, I'm in therapy. I trust him. I don't think he would do anything that would hurt me like that. And so I walked away from the phone. I almost didn't grab it. And then something in my brain was like, you are one stupid motherfucker if you're really gonna walk away from his phone right now while he's sleeping. So I went back. I went back in his phone, and I started searching his phone. And within maybe 5 minutes, I check his deleted album on his phone, and it's like 7 nudes, including a video, like a video of some girls' OnlyFans, and just nudes of like 5, 6 different girls. And my heart started racing, and I was like, this is the sign. This is the sign I asked for from God. God knew that if he gave me a subtle sign, I wouldn't take it, and I needed something as blunt as this in my face to walk out. He woke up, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is this? Oh, those are old. I got those from this girl's OnlyFans Twitter and blah, 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 blah. There's all bullshit lies. Everything from that point on was a lie. Like, every single thing. Like, he just continued to lie. And without getting into too much detail, I also found out that he was exploiting me. Like, he was full-blown exploiting me without my knowledge. Like, literally doing some illegal ass shit that I had no fucking clue about. We argued. I called up my best friend. She picked me up at 4 a.m. I got my shit back. I was in a state of literal fucking shock. And I didn't even know at this point that he had already cheated on me. Like, I seen the nudes. I seen that he had nudes from people. But I didn't really know the full extent of everything. A couple days had passed. And he called me up. And I'm like, is there anything else that you need to tell me? If there is anything else you have to tell me, now's your chance to do it. Because I'm never gonna fucking talk to you again. And if you want maybe even the slightest bit of respect, you better off just fucking telling me everything that I need to know now, because I'm gonna find out about it later. And he goes, yeah, I gotta tell you something. And I'm like, what? And he goes, I cheated on you. And I was like, okay, with who? When? And he says, with this girl I know. And I go, when was this? And he goes, in the summer. And I'm like, what do you mean in the summer? When? And he didn't want to say it. And I'm like, oh, was this before or after I almost died? I had 3 mini strokes. The doctor told me that if I would have went to sleep, I would have died in my fucking sleep. Okay? Like, full-blown fucking shock of me almost dying. And I was like, was this before or after that happened? 2 weeks. 2 weeks after I got out of the hospital. Mind you, I was in and out of the hospital because they didn't know what the fuck was wrong with me. 2 weeks after I got out of the hospital, this man on my couch, in my house, in my apartment, is texting some other girl for nudes. She wasn't the only one. There were other people. And that shit really fucking hurt me. I'm not gonna lie to you. That shit really hurt me. But what it did make me realize, and I know that God and the universe or whoever did this way, is because what it made me see is that this man will never love me. This man will never love me to loyalty ever in his life, because if I almost died and he still chose to make those decisions, that means that nothing will ever stop him from making the right choice or to be loyal. Like, nothing will ever stop him. The most extreme thing that could have possibly happened, and he still chose to cheat on me. So he cheated on me, that which was in June or July of this past summer, and then he cheated on me like 2 weeks ago. So sometime in December he also cheated on me. And I'm just like, oh. And he's like, it was a mistake. I felt so guilty when I did it, when I cheated on you the first time, and I felt so bad about it that I knew that the relationship was over by then. And you want to know something fucked up? He says, in July, we are now in January of the next year. In July, he told me that he knew that the relationship was already over because he had cheated on me. And this man sat there and convinced me to sell all of my things and move into a condo with him. Sell everything I own, every single thing, my bed, my couch, my kitchen table, my everything, every fucking thing. They made me sell everything. Knowing that he already cheated on me, convinced me to move to the condo with him because he promised me this life. He promised me, and it's not even about money. And I've never, ever cared about money, what you got, what you're wearing, your fucking designer bullshit. Like, he cared about those things. He cared about monetary values. And we were so opposite in that. Even when I first met him, when he was love bombing me and I didn't fucking recognize it, I thought that if I told him I didn't want him to buy me things, that I was curbing the love bomb. I was putting up a boundary. But all that did was make him find a different way to love bomb me. Instead of love bombing me with physical gifts, He did it with emotional things, with emotional needs. I wanted security in my life. I had a very difficult childhood, and I lacked security in home, you know? And he knew that. And he used that weak spot against me to be like, look, this could be our life. This could be us, like, together. We could be married and have kids, and then, well, it'll just be us two. And it was never gonna be us two. It would never was. And he knew that from fucking back in July. I just can't believe that he really full on convinced me to sell him my shit so I can move in with him. And thank God that I did not go into that condo financially. He wanted me to sign my fucking name across that, and so we both owned it together, and I didn't feel comfortable. And I feel like that's my intuition again screaming at me like, he's not the one, he's not the one. It really makes me upset because I really did love him, and I know that everybody knows that. Like, I really do. I know that people know that I cared for him and I loved him. But I feel like I'm going through the same shit that I did with my ex. It's like two different people. Like, I feel like I knew two different people now. Like, this person that did this fucked up shit to me, and then this person that I loved. And I can't put the two together. Like, I can't. I look at pictures of him and I feel nothing. I feel nothing. I don't feel love. I don't feel hate. I don't feel rage. I just look at them and feel nothing. I feel like, I don't even know you. I don't even know this person. I have no idea who you are. My therapist told me, she said, Taylor, what he is doing to you, having these 7-hour arguments and drilling you about shit that does not matter, is emotionally abusive. And I just never saw it that way. I was like, okay, well, he just wants to know some things. Like, I'm just trying to make him feel better. I thought I was giving reassurance. No. Having a 7-hour argument is not normal. And to speak on his mom, which I won't say anything negative about her, but when she found out everything he did to me, even the shit where he was exploiting me, she told me that's why in marriage you stay for better or for worse. That's what she told me. I value as a person, as a human being, as a woman, as somebody that's looking for somebody in a partner, some like important things in a partner. What I value is honesty, loyalty, commitment. Like, those are main values that I have. And like, I don't know about you, maybe our values don't match up, but I value loyalty. And she told me there's never going to be a perfect man in this world. You're right. There is never going to be a perfect man in this world. But I would take the less perfect man that doesn't cheat than the less perfect man that does cheat. Like, you have to pick and choose which flaws you're going to have. And I'm sorry, but I'm not picking the one that's going to cheat on me. I'm not doing it. I genuinely thought his mom did not know what he did. And I texted it to her, like, just so you know, he did this. And she's like, yeah, I know, but he's sorry. Like, don't leave him. Just teach him a lesson. Teach him a lesson? He did like every betrayal you could do in it that you could ever think of. He did it all. Why would I ever in my life teach him a lesson? That is your job. You're his mother. He should have been taught that lesson years ago. Why am I now bearing the responsibility to teach your son a lesson? She's like, you know, he has a problem. He needs to go to therapy. He needs extensive therapy for the rest of his life. And I feel like people aren't understanding like how fucked up that all this shit is. Like, and I feel like I'm still processing it myself now being out of it. Because at the time I was like downplaying a lot of things in my head because I didn't think that they were that big of a deal. But now that I'm here, I'm like, what the fuck? But it's so confusing because at the same time, I still love him. So it's like you're so fucked up, but why do I still love you? You know what I mean? And it's just, it's fucked up. The whole thing is fucked up. Whenever we would argue, he would always cut me off. Every single time he would cut me off. And I would yell at him and I would be like, you're not listening to what I'm saying. If you cut me off in the middle of me talking, you're listening to speak and you need to listen to understand. So if I'm talking and you're listening and you hear something that pissed you off and you hold on to that and you're like getting ready to respond to that, you're not listening to understand where I'm coming from. You're listening to speak. And that's not an active listener. That's what I would tell him. And I would be like, stop cutting me off. Stop cutting me off. And in our last text messages, which I'm going to read to you so you can really understand the depth of the fucked upness of my ex. I was texting him and he knew I was getting ready to block him. Okay, we're texting each other back and forth and we're mass texting each other. Like he's just blowing up my phone. He's not even reading my text, right? This is what I texted him. You'll feel my pain when you don't hear from me in a month, and every car you pass looks like mine, and every blonde girl you think is me, and you're checking up to see what I'm doing, and I'm living my life, moving on. When I reach milestones and you're not there. When you do something great and you want to call me and tell me and I'm not there. When you find something funny and you want to send it to me and you can't. That's what I want you to feel, because I knew this was coming. I mourned our relationship before it ended because I could see you not listening. I could see you not choosing me. This is what this man responded to that, okay? You can tell I'm exiting the conversation. I'm exiting the relationship, right? He responded to me, I've been feeling that all day. Sad emoji. Today, I had a really good session with XYZ, and it was the first time I was able to stop crying, and I just wanted to call you and tell you, but I couldn't, and it crushed me. You would have been so proud. Now, you're probably wondering, session with XYZ, what does that mean? Does that mean like therapy session? Is that what we're talking about? Are we talking about a smoke session? Like, what are we talking about? Oh, he's talking about his fucking drum lesson. His response to me with everything that I just told him of like, yeah, you're gonna miss me, trust me, it's gonna hit you in a couple months, is, yeah, that happened today when I went to a drum lesson. 4 days after we broke up, he went to a drum lesson and was like, it was the first day that I was able to stop crying. Bitch, what? And I said, so go ghost like you said you would. Move to New York, play drums. He responds, but I destroyed that. We became good friends. Still talking about his drum teacher. He added me to the guest list for his concert without even asking, and I just felt so sad because I wanted you there. We're still talking about your drum lesson? It's like, this is what I'm talking about. This is a perfect example of when I was in a relationship with him and I would argue with him, I felt like I was talking to a wall. There's no response to what I'm saying. It's all about him. It's a very selfish mentality. It's all about me. I had a drum lesson. I was so sad. I'm hurting. I was upset. I. It's never like, I hurt you and I understand that and I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, I get it, Taylor. Like, I'm gonna miss you. Like, he's not even responding to whatever the fuck I'm saying, right? And so I said, do all the things you think you need to do, but I will always be missing. And he said, still talking about his drum teacher, he knew I was sad. And I said, you will always look for me in a crowd. Goodbye. And he said, I'm going to grow from this, Taylor. I'll be back. And I blocked him after that. And then he downloaded a texting app and started blowing up my phone on Christmas. And he was like, this is the last time that I will like be reaching out to you and bothering you or whatever. I'm good with that. Like, let me heal. Let me just back away from this and let me not do this ever again in my life. And I think one of three things is going to happen. He's either A, going to jump into a relationship super fast because he's a very insecure person, and insecure people need other people to validate them. And that's what he did to me. He was an energy vampire. He took my confidence, my personality, my happiness, and sucked it out of me to make him feel secure. You know, like, I would constantly have to reassure him and validate him. He would say, you don't love me. You don't love me. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm not even doing anything. Like, we're just sitting there watching TV and he's going on this rant about how I don't like him and how other guys I dated are better looking than him and I want to be with them. Like, it would just come out of nowhere all the time. And so I just feel like he's either going to jump right into a relationship because he needs that validation from somebody to give to him, right? He's going to do that. 2, he's gonna randomly, in like 3 months, everything's gonna hit him and he's gonna come crying at my doorstep, blowing up my phone. I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Or 3, he's gonna mirror my actions. So anything that I do, he's gonna do. He's gonna copy me. Because I truthfully, now that I'm out of it, like, realize that he, like, in a weird fucked up way, like, wanted to be me. Like, he wanted to, the things that I had. And we were so different in so many ways, but I thought like, oh, opposites attract. Like, super into like money and buying designer and all that stuff. And I was never into that. Like, I'm not super into designer things. Like, yeah, if it's cute, maybe, but I'm not about to spend $2,000 on a bag. Like, that's just not me, you know? And he was not like that. And which is another thing that I have to say about his fucking complex. I think that he has a superiority complex. I think that's how you say it. Like, he feels like he's more superior over other people because he got dealt a good hand in life. For example, okay, the text message that he sent me that pissed me off, okay? This is what I'm talking about when I say he has a superiority complex up here. Like, I texted him, I'm going to move on. His response to me is, I know you hate who I am right now. But it's not like I won't ever be able to afford a car again. It's not like I will not be able to pay off the condo. It's not like I'm going to be jobless by the end of the year. It's not like I'm not going to fulfill my dreams. I'm going to grow mentally and physically from this, because it hurts me to know how much pain I caused you. It pains me to see the dream I killed for us. Okay, so you're gonna fulfill your dreams, but you crushed ours, is what you're telling me. You're gonna go pay off the condo that we were planning on having a family in. But what? Like, what type of fucked up text message is that? Like, oh, like, it's not like I'm never gonna have a car again. Like, he's basically telling me, like, just so you know, I'm still gonna be in this bitch. Like, okay, good for you, but you will always, always, always be broke emotionally, spiritually, and energetically, because you have zero self-confidence in yourself. You're not secure in yourself. So until you get that bag up, I could give less of a fuck if you pay off the condo. You know what I mean? Like there's so much more richness to other things in life than fucking monetary value. And like, he was the type of dude that like really, like, if he didn't have money, if he didn't have some type of flashy fucking shit, then he felt worthless. And he sold his car, his cool fucking car that he had. He lost his job, and I feel like he was feeling really weak because he was coming up on mortgage payments, and I don't think he could afford it, and he was struggling, and so he really didn't know how else to like represent himself, you know what I mean? And like, you know, me, if I'm broke, like, that's not gonna stop me from being happy and confident in myself. Is it gonna bog me down a little bit? Yeah, it would anybody, but it's not my personality. It's not who I am, you know what I mean? And I just feel like he really valued monetary things like a lot, and I am not that person, and I'm just glad to be out of it, to be completely honest. I really am. I'm literally grieving my relationship. I'm grieving the future we were supposed to have, and that's what kind of like really hurts me, you know, because like I had not been ever thinking about marriage or having kids. I was not that person that was like, I want a wedding and I want it to look like this. And I had never wanted to get married until I met him. And he really changed my view on that. But then I go back and I'm like, did he change my view because he knew he could convince me that if I got married that I would move in with him? You know what I mean? Like, it's all really confusing. And then, like, his mom, too, was texting me saying he was saving up for an engagement ring for you. Like, he had an engagement ring that he was saving up for you. Like, that's fucked up of her to tell me that. You know what I mean? Because, like, that hurts, too, you know? Like, it was supposed to be us. Like, it really was. And it's not, and it never will be. And I have to let that go, and I will in due time. But the fact that it's not really does hurt me. It really does. And after I found out all this shit, he's out here telling his mom that he's gonna buy tickets to Paris, get an engagement ring, and propose to me so I could fucking just marry him and move on with it. And it just reminded me of the first lie that he told me when he bought me a ring and did this whole fucking show thing. It's like, you're not actually sorry. You're trying to put on a show to make me forget. You're trying to buy me all this shit that I don't fucking want to make me forget all the fucked up shit you did. And I will never forget this. Never in my life will I ever forget this. I just hope that people hear like what I went through and what I'm currently going through right now, and they recognize some signs, you know, because like sometimes we think like we're just anxious people, but like we as women have such strong intuitions. Every single time I felt like something was wrong, I was always dead on the money with it. You know what I mean? And so like you really, 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 really have to trust yourself. You really fucking do. Because I was constantly like going back and forth like, oh, well, you're supposed to give the person the benefit of the doubt. Like, you know, he needs to work on himself. I'm working on myself. But I made the mistake of thinking. And don't make this same mistake. If you listen to anything out of this entire fucking video, do not make this mistake. Do not think because you give your all to somebody and you do the right thing and you make the right choices that they are going to do the same thing back. That does not mean that. And for some reason in my fucked up head, I thought that if I put my all into somebody, if I let all my guards down, if I really am trusting with somebody, that they would do the same. And that's not true. That is not true. One thing is for absolute damn sure is that This did not break me. This is not gonna stop me from looking for love or believing in that fairy tale type of love of like, I have my one person only for me. Like, it's not gonna stop me from believing in that. And I do truly, honestly believe that there is somebody out there that will love me with the same amount of love that I love them. Something like this could really make your trust issues skyrocket. And I'm sure that my trust issues are gonna be through the fucking roof after this. And I'm gonna have my own set of issues. But that's not gonna stop me from loving somebody else. I'm not gonna let this person, who is an unhealed, very mentally sick person, fuck up what I could possibly have. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I hold on to. I hold on to that. Like, I want this out of life and I'm gonna get it no matter what because I fucking deserve it. And out of all things, like, when I really think about everything, I didn't deserve this shit. I did not fucking deserve this shit. Out of all the shit that I've been through, I'm the last person that deserved that. But God works in mysterious ways. The universe works in mysterious ways. I feel like I needed this because he was holding me down. I'm just gonna go up from here. I'm going up from here. I'm gonna skyrocket. I'm gonna catapult myself into the fucking stars. You watch and see, motherfucker. I hope this helps somebody. I will be doing YouTube videos from here on out. I love you, bitch.